before signing his contract, he just calls all of his guys and says, "Hey, it's not about you guys, it's whatever," and
Damn.
describes his decision-making process and tells us he told me he's going to try and trade for me. So, I mean, I don't know if
Oh
that's
no.
out of any sort of reality or whatnot, but he's a great dude, and we're gonna miss him, and he's gonna miss us, and you can actually tell that he genuinely means that when he says it.
And you see, this type of stuff right here, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why it's so dangerous to lose important position coaches and or coordinators, especially when those coaches have an impact on the players on the roster, like John Bones Fossil has had on the special teams of the Dallas Cowboys since he's been here. Remember, I actually said this when we discussed losing John Bones Fossil in our original show. This could be a problem for the Cowboys in the very near future. And I wasn't thinking that Brandon Aubrey was someone that would potentially be on the chopping block as it pertains to someone he could target from the Cowboys. But I know that when you lose good coaches, there's a chance you're going to lose good players who enjoy playing for those good coaches. Brandon Aubrey is clearly going to be in the sights of the Tennessee Titans as long as John Bone Fossil has something to say about it. And hopefully, Jerry and Steven value that kicker position as much as they should value it, especially considering what our kicking position looked like prior to the Dan Bailey and the Brandon Aubreys of the world. Our kicking position was an absolute mess. Let's hope that the Jones family isn't completely off their rocker and they are in fact prepared to pay our kicker. Otherwise, we already know where he's going. Let's get right into this one because I told y'all so. But before we get into today's show, be sure to check out BetUS, America's favorite sports book, so you can bet on your favorite NFL matchups, including the Super Bowl this upcoming week, which as of right now, essentially the point spread is even. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles will be taking each other on in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59, and you can bet on a variety of different things in this game, including whether it's going to be heads or tails for the opening coin toss. So if you want to bet, be sure to bet with BetUS, and please bet responsibly. Again, thank you for sponsoring this video, BetUS. Now let's get back into today's show. So Brandon Aubrey was on the podcast, and he was talking about essentially how John Bones Fossil is in fact going to be coming after him as a player, whether it be through trade or when it's actually time to pay Brandon Aubrey his moolah. Now, as of right now, Brandon Aubrey is barely making an NFL wage kicking the football for the Dallas Cowboys, one of the biggest franchises in the world, right? He's barely making an NFL wage, and in 2025, his base salary is going to be $1 million. So, yeah, he's clearly going to be up for a pretty sizable pay raise by the time this contract is up. And by sizable, I mean he's probably going to increase his pay about 6 or 7 times, as the current NFL kicker salary stands at about $6 million for the top-rated guys, which Brandon Aubrey definitely is one of those top-rated guys. And if you're thinking, oh, the Cowboys will be able to pay that easy, or the Cowboys will pay that, yeah, they probably will, but guess what? Now they're for sure going to have to pay Brandon Aubrey top dollar on the market, because even if John Fossil isn't able to trade for Brandon Aubrey, guess what? He becomes a free agent, and you have this type of interest, and you have coaches that your players know they like playing for, the chances are higher that they will entertain conversations to go elsewhere, which means those guys' prices are going to be pushed up to the moon. So let's say the Cowboys might have been able to get him for about $5.5 million. No, you're guaranteed going to have to probably pay him top dollar on the market now, because you're going to have to bid with another team. And that's why it was so important for the Cowboys to make moves quicker than they did this offseason. Now, the offseason just started, so we haven't completely bled out as an organization already, but trust me, the gash is there. They've been cut. They've been nicked. They've gotten hit. They are now leaking all over the place, and it's already starting with this Brandon Aubrey and John Bones Fossil situation. You're already having some leaks, some cracks starting to develop in the bow of your ship, and water is starting to get through. And the Cowboys ship, it's on its way to sinking right now. You lose a couple of really good coaches like a John Bones Fossil and an Al Harris, which I'm going to circle back around on the Al Harris thing in just a second. But you lose really good coaches like a John Bones Fossil and Al Harris, and then all of a sudden your players start looking elsewhere. Instead of looking straight forward and out with you holding your hand going to eat at dinner, now they're looking around trying to see what kind of buns they can see, right? Now we're going to have a situation where there could be potential bidding wars or defections from the special teams this upcoming summer. Now you're looking at the Cowboys list of free agents and you're like, how many of those guys play special teams for the Cowboys? How many of those guys will probably be a special teamer with the Titans? And how many of those guys were actually kind of important to what the Dallas Cowboys do? And the answer is, there's a few guys that you definitely don't want to lose, and you definitely don't want to lose because the special team coach was allowed to go elsewhere. Cavante Turpin is someone that's going to be up for a contract pretty soon. He's going to be a restricted free agent this upcoming offseason. But again, a Tennessee Titans type team could absolutely run up the price for Cavante Turpin, especially if they have a special teams coordinator that is over there pushing for Cavante Turpin to be signed to the team and telling them how much he can help the team. You're crazy if you don't think Cavante Turpin's price went up a little bit when John Bones Fossil went to Tennessee. You're looking at guys like a Nick Vigil. You're looking at guys like a potential CJ Goodwin. You're looking at some of these other special teams guys, a Wanye Thomas, someone who made a lot of his hay on the special teams. You're looking at a lot of these guys and you're like, we're might gonna lose some of these dudes. And honestly, we probably are, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him end up going to Tennessee. Even someone like a Marquise Bell, he's going to be a restricted free agent. The Cowboys have a logjam at that safety position, and they're likely going to end up drafting a safety this year in the draft. So are we going to lose a Marquise Bell to the Tennessee Titans? We don't know. But what we do know is this. We have already lost Al Harris, and I did want to kind of briefly discuss Al Harris because everyone absolutely loves them some Al Harris, and Cowboys fans, again, Cowboys fans have a way of looking at their toys and thinking that they have the best toys on the block. Can I ask y'all something? For all of those of you who were so upset that the Cowboys let Al Harris walk away, which I don't think that was the case. I think Al Harris decided to walk away, much like it sounds like John Bones Fossil decided to walk away for his best interest. I think that Al Harris just decided to leave. I think that he would have had a job on the Cowboys coaching staff had he not taken that Bears job, so that's neither here nor there. But for those of y'all who are so upset about the Cowboys not even giving Al Harris a look for the defensive coordinator position or anything like that, can y'all ask yourselves a question? Why hasn't he been interviewed? If he's such a premium defensive coordinator candidate, why hasn't he been interviewed for any other defensive coordinator position across the league with any other team? Why didn't the Bears hire him to be their defensive coordinator if Al Harris is so ready to be someone's defensive coordinator? You see, Cowboys fans, you gotta take a chill pill. Stop making things mean more than they actually mean. Yes, Al Harris was probably well liked in that building, and I am sure he helped our cornerbacks develop a whole lot. But you know what I'm also sure of? I'm also sure that a Joe Witt Jr. had a big hand in helping our defensive backs develop. I'm also sure that our corners this year looked pretty average, and it's not like they were world beaters this season. I'm also sure that Al Harris probably doesn't even have an actual defensive scheme or defensive concept that he would be ready to run as a defensive coordinator. You have to develop that type of stuff over the course of years of learning the game, of being in that type of coaching system to where you actually understand how to develop a damn scheme, how to develop a concept, how to call plays. Now, Al Harris may be a really good positional coach. Again, there's a reason he hasn't been interviewed for anyone else's defensive coordinator position. There's a reason he hasn't been interviewed for a head coaching job. How can you be a coordinator if you don't have a scheme yet? And to our knowledge, Al Harris does not have a scheme. Al Harris may not even be really prepared to be a defensive coordinator just yet. We're catching Al Harris at the genesis of his coaching career, and Cowboys fans are already ready to put this man in one of the driver's seats, and he himself probably knows he's not quite there yet. That's why he continues to accept these passing game coordinator type jobs. That's why he continues to accept these jobs that doesn't require him to have the complete answer to the problem just yet. He can just be part of the solution right now as a defensive positional coach, man. So those of y'all who've been crying about, I've just been seeing those comments way too much. You don't even know if Al Harris was ready because no one else in the league wanted to interview the man for a defensive coordinator position. The same logic you're using for why you don't like Brian Schottenheimer can be used on Al Harris. He hasn't been asked for a coordinator position interview or a head coaching interview. So does that mean he sucks as a coach too? Either way, we still them same old Cowboys, and y'all be subscribed for more Dallas Cowboys content, man. I just had to throw that one out there because y'all are wilding with the Out Harris.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.